Season 2 of Devil May Cry just dropped on May 12th, and going into it, I had no plans to make a review of it. Not only do I not really like making review videos, but I didn't make one on the first season. I didn't really have many thoughts on it when I watched it. I thought it was better than most people said, but I didn't really have any reason to make a review on it. Anything I would have said had already been said. But while watching the second season, it surprised me in a lot of ways, and I thought, hey, why not? I'm gonna make a review on it. So here are my thoughts and a breakdown of Season 2 of Devil May Cry. The story of the season actually holds up really well, much better than I expected. They managed to adapt the second game, which is something I didn't expect them to go for at all. Most people, not me, most people though, hate the second game, like really, really hate it. And I just kind of expected them to skip it, and I wasn't even going to be mad about it. The second game story isn't fantastic. It's pretty basic in all honesty, but they actually adapted really well. The main story, simplified, is that there's this evil business guy, and he has to collect the 4 Arcana. And with the 4 Arcana, he can summon back not only the portal to the demon world, but also this really big bad demon guy called Argosax. And that's basically it. That's the entire story of the game. And they actually went for it in the season, which I did not expect. And they add a lot to it, but they also keep the base idea that he gathers all 4 and he tries to summon back Argosax. And it's really well done. The standout episodes to me were 2, 3, and 8. All those episodes were absolutely fantastic, especially 2 to 3. 2 and 8 had some of the best fight scenes out of both seasons. Season 1 had some really good fight scenes in my opinion. The one when they first attack him at his little apartment building, and then the last episode also has some good ones. But 3 and 8, the fight scenes in that, there's 3 in all of them, are just so good. In episode 3, Dante and Virgil meet each other for the first time since Virgil was taken as a kid to the Underworld. And they have a big fight, because Virgil is now on Mundus' side, the main bad guy of the whole thing. And the fight scene is so good. It's so well done. The music is exceptional. Oh, it's so good. And then 8 has 2 big fight scenes in it. A second one between Virgil and Dante, and then one big one between Argosax, who, believe it or not, they do manage to summon back, and Mundus. And it's really, really good to watch. It's so, so good. I will say, though, episodes 5, 6, and 7, those 3 in a row, were all pretty weak in my opinion. 6 was funny. So 6 followed... The first half was about Dante and Lady, and it was fine. I didn't think it was great. I'll get more to why I didn't really like 5 very much later. But the other half of episode 6 was following Virgil and a new character named Maddie, and they were stuck in one of the places from actually Devil May Cry 3, which I also did not expect to see in the show. And that part of that episode is actually fantastic. It's really funny. Virgil and Maddie just hanging. I wouldn't call it hanging out if you've seen the season, but just them going on their little trip through the area is actually really funny. As well as a great story, though, the soundtrack helps carry this season in a lot of ways. It has some amazing songs on it. It has Bodies, which that scene, amazing. It has an original song from Papa Roach, which fits the show absolutely perfectly. But along with great action, great music, and a pretty solid story, the season also has some pretty solid characters. This season goes into Virgil and Dante's past growing up together, and it really nails it. It was maybe my favorite part of the entire show, was them growing up together. Those scenes and flashbacks were fantastic. It shows a young Dante and Virgil, and how they each thought the mother loved the other one more, how Virgil was kind of bad at things early on, but he would work harder at it and get better, and Dante had more just immediate skill in it, and it just used those both not only great in the flashbacks, but also as they're grown-up characters interacting with each other based off that. Fantastic. It also has the night when their mother dies and Virgil's taken. Terrific. Really, really great. Terrific. Absolutely nailed it. I think, in my opinion, one of the most overlooked part of the games is a bit of Dante and Virgil's backstory. I kind of wanted more of that, and I think this show does a fantastic job at it. It's really, really well done. Also, throughout this season, it shows Mundus basically like teaching Virgil and, you know, tricking him into thinking like all this bad stuff and turning him into like this kind of villain of the show, and it is so well done. Mundus, in my opinion, from the first game, pretty silly. I was, you know, kind of whatever on him. He's pretty, you know, he's like a statue or something. I didn't really like him from the first game. I thought he was kind of a lackluster villain. But in this show, he is fantastic. He's really, really good in this season. And all of his interactions with Virgil and his, like, mind games kind of really, really well done. Sadly, though, Lady's character, also known as Mary, but we're going to call her Lady because that's what she goes as for 95% of this show. Lady was my second least favorite part of season 1. I thought she was so annoying. I don't mind the not true to the game things so much for most of this show. I like it, it's to be expected with game adaptations. Almost none of them are actually true to the game. But Lady's character is so far off from the game. It's just like not the same character. Dante and Virgil, in my opinion, like, they're not the same character, but they're very similar in, like, you know, their demeanor and all that. Lady is literally, like, she doesn't even look all that same. And she doesn't get much better. She is almost just as annoying. And it leads to one of the strangest choices in the entire show, in my opinion. And it's why I didn't really like episode 4 and 5. In the show, they make the choice to have a relationship between Dante and Lady, which is extremely strange if you know the games, because in the games, there's like none of that. There's like a couple jokes here and there about, you know, that, but there's like no relationship with Dante or anyone, you know. It's a pretty relaxed game with all that, and it doesn't go into it much. Like, there's genuinely probably 5 minutes of that with like Dante and Lady being in a relationship, but it's just weird playing the games with them not, you know, at all being in a relationship, and then having them being in a relationship in the show. It's just very strange, and I'm not a fan of it. I will say, though, they do handle it pretty well. Like, I think it fits the story, but I'm still not a fan of it. Like, I guess they did a good job at it, but that was probably my least favorite part of the season. My least favorite part of the first season, though, was Bane as a character, the Vice President Bane. I did not like him. I thought he was just really weird and not needed for the season, and they kind of fix it in this season. He's basically the exact same character in this season, but the way they fix it is he dies. Yeah, he dies. They kill him, as well as the President, which is interesting, because the President was in like one episode in season 1, and he was just, you know, goofy with a cowboy hat, and he's in this season too, and yeah, they both die. It handles both their death scenes pretty well, honestly. Like, it's kind of sad, you know, they do a good job at it, but also I think they kind of get that most people don't really care about either of these characters, you know. They're not in the games, they're kind of just to help move the story forward, and I think the show gets it, you know. It doesn't spend too much time on their death, but also it has it affect the story with their deaths. It's not like just getting them out of the way, it actually uses it pretty well. The season also introduces 2 new original characters. I guess it's technically more than that, but the 2 are the only ones that really matter. Their names are Maddie and Tom. And honestly, pretty solid. The original season, the original characters were the President, Vice President. The bunny kind of technically was in a book once, but for all intents, he was also original. Honestly, all of them, President, Vice President, and Rabbit, super boring characters in my opinion. Not my favorite. Didn't really like any of them. As said, I thought Bane was the worst part of season 1. But the 2 new ones, Maddie and Tom, I actually liked a lot. I thought they both were pretty good. They weren't in it a ton, probably combined like, you know, 15 minutes of the show. And they're pretty good. Like, what they give to the show is good. It builds the other characters in good ways, and it brings the story forward. So between the main characters and the original cast of this season, they're all really likable and pretty well done. I don't like all the choices they've made with the characters, particularly the relationship with Dante and Lady. I think it's a very strange choice. Very, like, when making this review, I tried to think of something to compare it to, and I really can't compare it to something that I can really think of. It's just really a strange choice that I'm not a fan of, but they handle it well, and I'm excited to see where them and their arcs go in Season 3. Also handled well is the villains of the show. The main villain of this show is amazing. So good. Arius, he's from the second game. They adapt him really well, and he's so much better in this than the second game. My most unpopular opinion is that Devil May Cry 2, the game, is actually pretty good. I like it a lot. My first video for this channel, or the first gaming video, I guess, I had a little animation as my first video, but my first video for this channel about gaming was that I like Devil May Cry Season 2 and why, or not Season 2, was that I like Devil May Cry 2, the game, a lot, and basically explaining why I think that game is great. And one of my favorites was Arius. I think he's actually a pretty funny villain. I think he's good, and he works really well for the game. And he works even better in the show. For the show, they brought it to, like, modern age. It takes place present day, essentially. And Arius works even better in the show, being present time with all the, FBI type stuff in the show. Arius is perfect. And the voice actor for Arius was so amazing. So good. Like, he did such a good job, unlike the one in the game. But they adapt it well. They adapt him really well. One of my things, they didn't bring back Lucia, which expected. They showed her in the first season getting captured, so I didn't think they would bring her back for this. They kind of do, though, bring back the storyline of Arius making the clones of them and using it kind of as a mini army. They do a great job of it. They really do. I liked it a lot. But one of my things in Lucia's storyline in the game, the final boss is actually Arius after he's turned into a monster, and his design as a monster is so good. It's one of my favorite designs. It's not my favorite because we'll be getting to my favorite from that game in a second, but I like it. I like it a lot, and they didn't show it in the story or in the season, which I understand, really. I don't see where they would have put it in, and it makes sense, but dude, I really wish they put it in there somewhere. But anyway, end of the season, believe it or not, they do bring back Argosax as the big boss of the show, or the season, I guess. They absolutely ruined his design. His design in the second game is so perfect. It's so cool. In the second game, he's the same size as Dante, so you can have a cool sword fight with him. He's great. He's one of my favorite designs in any video game. I love his designs. He's got the cool Ultra Kill type wings. Second season, what they did to him. They turned him into a Godzilla monster. They turned his cool wings into those weird tentacle things. I hated it. But I will say, the 8th episode redeems it really well. The reason they make him so big is so that he can fight Mundus in the end, which, as said, stellar fight, really, really excellent. And it makes sense why they made him that. They made him like that so that he could have that fight. Really well done, really well done. Kind of sad we didn't see the one from the game at any point, but they do a good enough job. With all this, though, and with them having Mundus fight Argosax, it sets it up for Season 3 in some good ways. At the end of the season, Virgil stays behind the underworld to fight Mundus for killing his mom, and then he is going to invade Earth with Mundus's army, which sets it up for Season 3, which will be Virgil fighting Mundus, and then likely, unless they just decide to kill Virgil in the first episode, lead the army into Earth. And honestly, one of the best choices in this season is that all the fights between Virgil and Dante, it's kind of clear that both of them, especially Dante, aren't really trying or going at full strength at each other. It's clear that Dante especially doesn't want to kill or hurt Virgil. He still thinks that Virgil is just brainwashed or something. The reason it's one of the best choices in the show is because it makes all the fights between Virgil and Dante in the third season coming up feel like the real fights, and in Season 2 were just kind of them sparring almost. It's practice, but it's clear that those weren't the real fights, and that Season 3 is going to be where all the real fights are. Also, a really, really great thing they did for Season 3 is the big reveal in the last, 5 minutes of the show. If you haven't played the third game, you wouldn't know, but Lady's father, Arkham, is extremely important to the third game as kind of like Virgil's advisor in opening the portal to Earth. And obviously that's not going to be the main story of the third season, but it is going to be adapting the third game in some aspects, obviously. Another core component to the game, though, is this character called the Jester, who is like a weird guy who's kind of playing both sides, and I don't know, he's a really weird character. He kind of plays both sides. He helps Dante and Virgil, but mainly it seems like he's on Virgil's side. One of the best things, though, in Season 1, it shows Arkham dying in a fire when Lady was a child. And that, really confused me, because, he's a really important character to to the third game. And I was like, how are they going to do this, What they do is they reveal that he did not die, and he went to Bane, who's kind of leading this attack on the underworld. And it turns out that he got turned into the Jester, which I'm sure not everyone will like, combining those characters in one, because they are kind of polar opposite characters. Arkham is very, down-to-earth, serious. Jester, believe it or not, he's funny. But combining them into one character, I think, will simplify it a lot for most people, and it will keep the show down. The Season 1, Season 2, both 8 episodes, about 480 minutes, I think, in runtime, and I think that's going to cut the runtime down a lot, answer some questions, and I think it's actually a phenomenal choice. In all honesty, overall, I think the show does a great job of setting things up for the third season, and I can't wait for the next season. So here are my final thoughts on Season 2. So, after talking about all this, here are my final thoughts. The characters I talked about the most and spent the majority of this video probably talking about, I thought for the most part they did a pretty good job at it. The original characters I thought were pretty good that they introduced. I thought they did pretty good adapting Dante and Virgil from the games. I know a lot of people didn't like Dante and Virgil as much as I did, but too bad, this is my video. As said though, I didn't like Lady very much. I thought she was still not great from the first season, and with that, brought my ranking of the characters down to a B. The action though, I think they absolutely nailed. So I gave it an S tier, and honestly, pretty easily. I thought the action was pretty great this season. Better than the first season. They had not only more of it, but better action scenes. As said, third episode and the 8th episode had some absolutely awesome ones. Along with the action though, it was matched with some great soundtrack. The songs they chose were new metal and stuff, which I think fits Devil May Cry amazingly, of course. And also I thought they used the songs really well and didn't just kind of have big name songs and then kind of throw them away. And the single Papa Roach made for the show, also really good. Maybe better than the Evanescence one from the first season. I don't know, I like them both a lot. We'll see. The villains, I also thought were really good this season, better than the first season a lot. As I said, I wasn't a huge fan of the rabbit from the first season, but also I wasn't a huge fan of the style switch they did with Argus Sax, the main bad guy. With that though, I still gave it an A. I thought they did pretty good with it. I liked Arius a ton. He was way better than the game, I have to admit, even though I'm a big fan of the game. So overall, I gave Season 2 of Devil May Cry an A ranking. I thought it was really good. I had a lot of fun with it. If you're a fan of the Devil May Cry games, you should check it out. I don't know if you like it, but I did. I thought it was fun. If you like this, I have other videos that you probably like too. I have one on Devil May Cry 2, as I've said. You can check that out. I have a breakdown on that and why I like it. Also, some other videos you can check out. I've been doing a playthrough of Mouse P.I. and Alice to Madness, which I've been having a ton of fun with. With that, thank you for watching. Basically, nobody gets to the end of these videos, so it's super cool that somebody did at least. If you liked it a lot, consider subscribing. I'm trying to get to 100 by the end of June. I don't think it's going to happen. But if you liked it, you'll get us one closer. So, again, thank you for watching, and have a great day.